this is Ryder here. We're jumping into our review of America's Cup 2026. Obviously, first stand starts tomorrow, but I finished watching this series yesterday, or I finished watching the rest of the series yesterday, so here are my final thoughts on the teams for America's Cup 2026. And then we'll go into expectations going forward. So first, we have Sentinels, right? Sentinels, I think Hambach was still good. Impact was okay, but I think we'd hope to see a little bit more from him because I feel like he should be an international level player, but he was sort of just like he found moments, but then he also was losing at Thanatos, wasn't really doing much against Guigos. It wasn't great. And then I think Rahel was overhated. I think some of the angles that people were hating on him for were actually pretty hard to play. So, it's sort of if you go in and die, it's your fault. But then if you don't go in and don't DPS, then it's also your fault. Darkwings, I think I've been pretty high on Darkwings. I feel like he has a pretty strong, stable champion pool. I've never felt like his ceiling was super high, but I always felt like he had a really good floor, and he was a good player for Fearless because he has. He can play a lot of different things at approximately the same level. A lot of different control mages. But I do feel like here he was getting caught in mid to late. Maybe a little too many times. He is newer to tier 1, so we'll give him some time to adjust. But it is a cause for concern in the future. But this is last year he was on Disguise, which was happy just to make it into playoffs, so this is really the first time he's playing against good competition in a playoff scenario. So this and obviously the winter split. So, it's just warning signs, but it wasn't what we hoped it would be. And Huhi, I love and hate Huhi, man. It's he's just such an inter. But then he finds those plays. And I think so you do need that X factor on a team to make it decent, but yeah, I think maybe it's maybe a little bit worrisome when he does reach international. I forget which team he was playing on, but that's time when he was playing with Stixay in the bot lane, Stixay support, and they were just getting omega blasted in the bot lane. They solo lost the game at level 1. It's not like Stixay was a good ADC, but bro. So yeah, I feel like it's who he's definitely should be on an LCS roster. He's definitely an LCS level player, but when he's making international level top 3, I think you're a little concerned about the level of the league, right? And Rahel, it wasn't his best tournament, but I would not put the blame on him. I think overall it was just I feel like we just needed a little bit more from everybody besides Hambach. I feel like maybe not not everybody was very cohesive as they should be, a little disjointed, etc. Red Candids, they were the second seed coming in, but they were noticeably worse than Furia. I thought the one bright spot, I thought Curse was really good. I thought he was finding angles similar to Hambach, even against Hambach and Blabber. He was finding good angles, getting his team into games, getting them advantages. I haven't watched the CbLol series, how they ended up getting second, but I'd imagine it was through Curse playing well. Kaze and Rebello I thought were bad. And then FMB and Frosty were okay. They weren't game losing, but they weren't game winning. Yeah, I think it's a miracle they got. I think them going 5 games with C9 is indicative more of C9. Sentinels, I forgot to mention it, but they performed a bit how I thought they were in general. I didn't really move them up or down. Just a little bit concerned about Darkwings. Red, I didn't really know how good the CbLol teams were going to be coming in. After watching it, I feel like they're a D+. I feel like if I was to compare them to the NA teams, realistically they should be around the same level as Shopify or a Dignitas or a Disguise, like there's some decent players here, but like overall this should be a bottom team, which is why it's concerning that C9 went 5 games with them. At least Sentinel sort of cleaned them up, but yeah. Next we have C9, the big topic. I want to give the kudos to Vulcan. I think he played super well all tournament. He looked like a world class player. Thanatos I thought was really good in lane. I mean, the age old question is like, hey, we want to see you do more in the mid to late, like actually have an impact. But I would not fault him for any of these series. I do think like for the resources, right? I think there were games where C9 put extra resources into top lane to stabilize him, right? When, for example, when Guigos got the Volibear counter pick, they put a lot to stabilize the Mbessa in the top lane, get him back in the lead. So I would like to see a little bit more, but the series is definitely not his fault. I think the biggest statement is Blabber. Well, I guess we'll talk about APA first and then go back to Blabber. Because APA, I feel like his champion pool was really exposed. Right? I think best of threes, he can sort of get away with it. But once we hit best of fives, if we're seeing, bro, any game one, ASOL, if the Aurelion Soul's coming out, we're seeing any regularly game one, game two in series, like, it's not good, bro. It's really not good. Like, sure, the rise to Leah is theoretically fine, but like, I don't know, the fall off of his play is really noticeable. Like, if he can't get those like meta roaming picks, like, it's tough. And I think that bleeds into Blabber looks really bad. Like, his confidence looks shattered. I think in Swiss, like, he was playing the Kiana, the Nidalee, and he looked super confident, right, on the Nidalee. He was going for these crazy plays on, like, Cryogen, Karma, like, super deep in the jungle, but, like, he knew he could get that shit, and he got it, Super snowballed those games. Not seeing any of that here. It looks like here he's, like, just trying to play safe and stable, almost, like, at a Jose Diota level, or even worse, right? Like, maybe being on the wrong side of that clear speed, like... And part of that, I feel like Blabber plays really well when he has winning lane, so he knows he can go and contest objectives. And here, if, like, APA is not playing well, or, like, right, even when they had the Rise Malphite rotate, and they just didn't do enough damage to kill anybody, it looked like, bro. It's like, even when they rotated together, it didn't do shit, and it just looked like... I don't know. Maybe it's the champion pool. Maybe like we just like the Kazakh game was not bad. Or even like the Sejuani game, he had some good ganks. That was obviously a tragedy in the mid to late. I don't know how they lost that, but like Gwen OP, I guess. Vulcan's one int loses them the series. I don't know. He played well otherwise, so whatever. But yeah, I think there's a big issue in that mid jungle right now, right? Because I think that mid jungle is what made them look like they could be a world class team in the Swiss, and then now, I think with APA playing bad, it's really making things hard for Blabber, and Blabber's looking a lot worse too. And Sven, I mean, I've been ragging on him since last year, so he hasn't been playing well. I feel like sometimes it's every series. Here, when it gets really bad, it looks like it's every game. Every game he's either going to lose in the lane or he's going to just get caught and die randomly in mid-game and cost his team, like, tempo, objectives, etc. Like, it's going to happen. And, like, it's so painful to me. I was saying when I was watching the series, like, please, you have to be able to swap. Like, there's got to be a player you can swap him with. Like, you have an import slot. I don't care what Sven brings in, like, team environment. He's not bringing it in the game or in the comms or whatever. Like, he can go play on Dignitas and give C9 FBI. And, like, they might actually win this tournament, Like, it's not gonna stop Blabber and APA from playing bad, but like, it makes so much difference when you have a stable bot lane that you don't have to worry about inting every single game. So yeah, coming in, I thought C9 was like, maybe Lion just maybe Inspired's a really good jungler. There's that Berserker's a really good AD carry, so maybe it was just like a tough matchup. But here, I mean, they went 5 games against Red. They didn't look great against Sentinels. They obviously got Omega clapped by Furia. It's just, I think you have to look at it and say, this team is not like, they're at an LCS level, but like, they don't look like they're close to an international level. They could be there, but they need to figure out their mid jungle situation, and they need to get a better AD carry. Then they can be international level. But now, yeah, I think it's tough. And finally, Furia. Obviously, Furia is really hyped up. They're saying, "Oh, how can NA get 3 seeds? Like, shouldn't if we beat C9 Sentinels, shouldn't maybe like CbLol should get it?" I think they need to. Good for them. I think they need to cool their jets a little bit. Obviously, I think they played well. They didn't lose a single game, a single series, or a single game. So like, they have a right. I think the one thing is Tatu was really good. I thought Tatu was amazing. Like, he had really good gank angles. Obviously, that play where like, Blabber was playing J4, and Tatu was just hiding in the bush, uh, above red, on the bot side. He watched Blabber go to his red and then came around behind to gank APA on Oriana. That was an amazing gank angle, right? APA would never expect that because Blabber just walked through there. So I thought Tatu was really good, but Guigo was just, he had good picks to neutralize the top lane, but I mean, I'd say is it similar to Dokla in terms of skill, or maybe like worse? I don't know. Like, it's just a similar angle, I feel like it's a good comparison where they're playing like off meta picks to get an advantage, but like, I don't know if like once you sort of get a hold of it, like, it might not really make that much of a difference. It's good in that it neutralizes like the opposing team's star top laner, but that just makes you like good for what you are, not good overall. Tuts had his pop off games, but he also had his Omega int games, so it's not like he's a world level consistent player, right? Like, maybe if you just banned him like you banned APA, then like he's not that good. I don't know. I need to see more. I feel like he's too flippy. And then AU and JoJo, they were fine. I didn't think they were like that particularly good. I think they were lucky in that the opposing bot lanes they played against were Rahel Huki and Sven Vulcan, both of which have like a player that's like Omega bad in lane. So like, they didn't really get punished, but I think you put this bot lane against Yan, Core JJ, put them against Masu, Cryogen, or put them against Berserker plus Isles, or Berserker plus any support in the world, and I think like, I mean, Furia might still win, but like, I think it would be they would look a lot different. Right, having that stability, having their bot lane not be exposed, having them just be able to be fine, I think made it a lot easier for them to just, even in the late games, just like be stable. But I think like up against actual world level bot lanes, like if anything, these were bot lanes that like, Vulcan's a good player and Rahel's not that bad, but like, I don't know. You have like some pretty bad players in the other positions, so yeah, I thought they were just mid. So overall, I think like Furia doing so well is just indicative of how bad NA is right now. But I mean, kudos to them. They didn't lose a single game, so like, they deserve their plaudits. And like, I think it would be fair to say like, oh, when it comes to world qualifications, you know, let's have, I don't know, the top three NA and the top three CbLol teams just go into like a bracket and fight it out for the two or three world spots. I think that would be totally fair. Because I do think like it was a little bit just they had good matchups and they had the fortune of C9 imploding right before this tournament and into this tournament. So, I think in a world where they have to play against TL, that could be tougher. Or like Lion, that like they might just like the shit we like if Inspired is just like canceling out Tatu and Berserker is shitting on IU and JoJo, this could be a different story. But yeah, so overall, it's my thoughts on the teams. I think coming into first stand, I'm excited to see the Loud versus Lion matchup. I would have low expectations of both those teams. I think after they beat each other, after whoever beats whoever, I think they'd both probably don't expect them to get farther than like 1 or 2 wins. But yeah, looking forward to watching. Moving forward for NA versus Brazil, if there's any in the future. I think this is a good sign that Fury is good, but Red did not leave me that much confidence for the region as a whole. But I think there could be a world where we have two Brazilian teams if none of the NA teams get their shit together. But hopefully, like TL or C9 can like. They just need to figure out their team coordination or just swap out a player or two, and then they could be legitimately like B tier. So, yeah. All right. Thanks for watching, and then I'll catch y'all when it comes to time for after first stand. All right. Have a good day.